Hey, welcome back. Welcome
Hey,
back. Thanks for waiting, everybody. This is week one of the Heroes Hype Tempo Storm series. My name is Lauren, joined by the memer and dreamer himself, the imported support Haas. We had a really cool game to start the night off, didn't we?
yeah, for sure. It was definitely an interesting one from a casting perspective. We had a bit of both on both teams. We had like slow and steady fights. We had the press R compositions. We had the global thrown in. We had the cow, which is basically a steak right now because he might as well be dead. Um, yeah, it was a great game to start things off. Both teams had great moments throughout, but Picante and Co. of Players Unknown coming out on top, advancing to the next round. Good stuff from them.
Yeah, nicely done. We're gonna see how they square up against accident-free Sins. Now, is this a roster that you're familiar with,
Yeah,
Haas?
this is the former Gear Gaming. So this is Alamau,
Oh,
Needham, Skull Kid, plus the two
okay.
others which I can't remember. But yeah, um, yeah, they played in the Open on Monday night. They lost to Blank 2-1. Actually, Blank then went to take a game off LFM, but they lost that series 2-1. So solid team for sure. Should be an interesting one. We might see something spicy picked up from Players Unknown. Picante is not too confident going into this. I just had a little chat with him. His team actually flamed him for taking Wind Tunnel at the end there as well.
That
I was
won
like,
him
dude,
the game.
don't worry, I got you, Bay. A little while, I
That
was like,
won
yeah,
him
you good.
the game.
Yeah, did win them the game. But yeah, we could see something spicy. The map is going to be Infernal Shrine, so pretty standard map, very macro orientated, where we have these small team fight clusters as well that happen at every interval on Shrine. So should be a good one.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see this. We saw that Warhead was banned by Players Unknown, and
And
then
I believe Shire.
yeah, Dragonshire was taken off the board by AFS. So I, you
D-Shire's a
know,
weird one.
that one's tough from a shot calling perspective.
Yeah.
Warhead Junction, I feel can definitely be something of a question mark. Uh, I get why you would try to take both of those off the board.
Yeah, I mean, no one likes playing Warhead. I think it's safe to say. And D-Shire is a game where no matter how good your macro is early, it's going to come down to like one late game team fight. Like, unless you severely snowball early by like 3 levels at the 10 to 12 minute mark, it's coming down to one mistake right at the end. And no one likes to really see that style of play. So, Shrines is a lot more forgiving in that sense. If you are able to get a lead early, these Punishers do work. If you get an Arcane Punisher, it is so much pressure. If you get a Frozen Punisher, then the follow-up with your CC can then work. Mortar is kind of air. But hey-ho. Players alone into the lobby should be a good match. And I'm sure people out there want to support the tournament, right? How can they donate a $3, Halloran?
You know, there is this roguishly handsome devil of a man that I saw make this video the other day that gives instructions.
Wait. Hecarim J made a video?
Close. Starts with an H. Starts with an H. This guy Halloran.
Okay.
It's
The hell was
Halloran, by the
that?
way. It's Halloran, by the way. Just keeping that meme alive. But yeah. I forget what the exact command is in the chat, but our lovely admins will be able to post that.
I believe it is exclamation point Maturino.
I believe so. You hit that, you go over there, you put in the code, and you can give a free dollar to the prize pool, which steadily is rising. I think tonight we're trying to shoot for $700. So
Yep.
definitely would love to see that. If we see a Ginger Dread and a Zebo, it will be $10 closer to that by way of myself and Haas.
Sure.
But in just over 48 hours, we've already gotten halfway to our goal. So I think what that says to me, Haas, is the community loves this series and what Heroes Hype stands for.
To put it in perspective as well, last season, across like the entire 7 to 8 weeks of crowdfunding, we got like 330. Now with Tempo Storm on board and everything they're bringing to the table, they're promoting us, their players, big shout out to them. I think June's coaching session sold out straight away. I believe it was actually Dark Chimera that picked that one up. So supports uniting there. June, such a good player. Like the first time I scrimmed against June, we had like VP Ring. He was on Uther. He hit frame perfect cleanse into D Shield out of VP. And we're like, right, we're never picking CC into June again. He's so sick. So sick.
Yeah, I can definitely understand why you'd want coaching from him. I think the Fury sessions went away as well, but you can
Yep.
also get some sessions and times with the stream
Streamers.
team,
Yeah.
Tempo Storm. There's
I
a few slots
believe.
for Renisaurus, right?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
Unalaska sold out last night.
Yep.
Really nice lady. Met her and her group of friends at Dorm. Really nice to hang out with. And Karen is now there as well, Renasaur. So you guys want to go and play some games, or as Karen actually put it in chat, get flamed by her for an hour, go donate $30.
So
I did.
So nice.
I did actually suggest, like, can we do a goal like $5 gets me to flame someone on Twitter? Like, apparently that's not allowed. But we are in the draft. Infernal Shrines, let's go.
Dreamer. Over on the left, players unknown. Accident free sense on the right. No bubbles for either team. Zarya and Tassadar banned out in short order. And both of these teams, they're drafting like they gotta be up early tomorrow, man. They went to this Malfurion quick.
Yeah, Malfurion, solid pickup. You have those scouting drones to aid the rotation, and you are the best support in the game. So, why not first pick? The reaction I'm expecting here is a global plus, I guess, Arthas. They played it last game. It worked well. Wouldn't be surprised if they do the same here.
Yeah,
Essentially mirrored.
Yeah, I mean, like in these tournament style setups, if you have something that works, there's a lot of merit to just continuing to use that. You keep some cards up your sleeve, keep things close to your vest, so you don't reveal all of your strategies. You don't want to walk into a situation where you get countered. You're so, married to a specific composition. But this is a team that practices a lot. Like number one GM Picante's on the team. Damavarian's a very skilled player. We saw Apex do a lot of work. So they have a wide range, but they're going to help themselves the Greymane along far. That's nice.
Yeah, mixing it up a bit here. They are risking being banned out away from a global, so they could be falling behind in that respect. It is going to be Picante on Greymane, I assume. Could be Cripsy. Actually, both of those could probably pull out something feisty. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Valera come out, just because it pressures Mouth insanely hard. Even with Ice Block, if you just pop out and silence the Mouth, then it's extremely hard for him to do anything in a team fight. So look for that in the 4-5. Oh, okay, so I believe they played Shrines the other night against Blank, and they went for this double global. And I think you'll agree with me here. It is more difficult to play double global than it is single global. And I don't think the trade-off in difficulty between the trade-off with difficulty and the success you get, I don't think it's that great.
It's really interesting. It's a different level of coordination you have to bring to your team. Is because who goes into what lane at what moment. You got to manage the global cooldowns and things like that. It can be really tough, and like you said, it can end up backfiring on you sooner rather than later. It's going to be up to AFS to really get value out of that composition. I would imagine we would see another support or some kind of mitigation from AFS. The reason why I say that, solo Malfurion against Greymane, that's a lot of burst damage, and that's something that Malfurion really struggles against. So they put themselves in a tough spot, I feel, with the double global.
Yeah, and the problem with this as well is that Falstad isn't the best solid DPS, and then Dahaka isn't the best solid tank, So you kind of got half-assed in both those roles, of course, until Falstad hits late game, and until Dahaka hits 10. So up until that point, you need something to supplement it. That's what that 4-5 is going to be. Malfurion on your own is okay if you're going for these long drawn-out fights into the Greymane.
Yeah.
But I'm intrigued as to see what that 4-5 is. Medivh respect ban again. Damavarian is amazingly good, so yeah.
I mean, Apex should definitely be giving Damavarian a pat on the back, because the Medivh ban paves the way for Lucio to get snapped up again. That'll offer a lot of mobility. We saw what that man can do on Lucio, so I would imagine we would see him get picked up here. And hi Mist, dude, because I know he's the pro. I know he's the Probius. 100%.
Wait, Mist isn't on Probius. This is a Cripsy pick. I'm telling you, this has to be Cripsy.
I've seen Mist stream quite a bit, and he definitely likes himself some Probius. So I guess they have hero pool depth. There could be either Cripsy or Mist.
Well,
we'll see.
I think Mist is actually the tank on this team, because then Domo's Medivh role kind of fits into the flex. So unless they pick a second tank, Mist is probably on the Arthas. I mean, it could be Domo. We know he does like his specialists, but I'm confident in saying it's not going to be missed. Sylvanas makes it. This is kind of like a win early, win with XP, and then win harder. But their shrine control is rather weak with that Sylvanas. A little bit of anti-synergy, I feel.
I don't know if they'll have the damage to break through a well-timed sound barrier with this setup. They've put all their cards on the table. Johanna Dahaka. Dahaka's drag is going to be tough during the shrine phase. Falstad isn't exactly known for his burst damage. This almost invites a Hinterland Blast setup, because I just don't know where they get damage with this kind of composition. I really don't.
And like this 1 through 10, like you've got Sylvanas because you're trying to get these advantages early. You're trying to get as many walls and gates down as you can, but because you have this double global, your 4-man is rather weak, right? So you're going to have Dahaka top, but then Falstad's in rotation, and your pressure on these towers early while Sylvanas is using her trait on them, it isn't that great. Like, it's not, say, a Illidan or a Li Ming, you know? Or a Gul'dan for that matter, but he was banned out. So the pressure on these towers isn't going to be great. They are going to try and win early and win harder, and Sonya into Dahaka is a great matchup there. How are AFS going to win a shrine into Sonya, Probius, Greymane with what they have? They're looking to take a trade-off instead. As soon as Players Unknown commit to a shrine, they're just going to global and Sylvanas on there. But I don't think that's the best way to play this. I much prefer Players Unknown comp here. Think they're more well-rounded, and yeah.
I'm gonna have to agree. I mean, Accident Free Zone Sense is they're definitely gonna have to impress me with their level of play, because I think a lot of their success would come off of catching someone out of position. Because in a full 5v5 team fight, like I said, outside of, I think you almost have to go Hinterland Blast, as unusual as that might be, because I just don't know how you secure kills with Falstad and Sylvanas as your only main damage dealers. I just think it's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, I mean, if I see a Hinterland Blast, I'm probably going to get PTSD here. Yeah, it was on this map too. You did say it was a misclick though, and I 100% believe. But I don't know, is Gus just too good? I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, they might need it to save their teammates with the way these team fights could go. But we will see. Over on the left side, we got the members of Players Unknown. Picante's on Greymane. Damavarian is actually playing Probius. Cripsy's on Sonya. Mist is committed to the Warrior role on Arthas, and Apex is once again on Lucio.
Yeah, and the right-hand side is going to be accident-free Synths. They're going to actually set up for this bot side cheese to get some pressure early, and then their globals will, of course, get on out of there. It's Mysticles playing that first global, is the Falstad, Alamel on the Dahaka, Percy playing the Joe. Skullkid loves his weird picks, and he's on that Sylvanas, and finally Needham on that Malfurion. Like, Skullkid's hero pool is stuff like Tracer, so you kind of almost expect something weird to come out from him.
Well, another interesting thing is Lucio's going to allow the members of Players Unknown to rotate sooner rather than later against this double global composition. So the value even there could be relatively limited. Some damage goes on the bottom tower before Players Unknown rotate down. But Players Unknown, they're just going to keep Sonya in the top lane. Greymane's already mid, so they're just focusing on getting some soak for right now.
Yeah, so the last time I saw a Probius on this map was LFM actually having a bit of fun. They did an Alarak combo into double warp thingy and just blew up a tank and a Falstad. So Domo does have damage on this hero, has great shrine control for the zoning potential, and if anyone but the 2 tanks steps up, they're going to take some serious damage.
Taking a look at talents, Warpaint for Sonya, Frost Presence, Celerando, Season Marksman, Overflowing Quiver, Scouting Drone, Primal Aggression, Region Master. Percival steps out, gets condemned, brings 3 members of Players Unknown in. Skullkid takes down a little turret from Probius. Both of these teams kind of poking at each other. They're not making too many grand gestures just yet.
So it's going to be a 1-1-3 set up to start things off. Not too much rotation. Of course, rotating with Probe is a little bit slow, and then Sylvanas, you're looking to try and commit to these walls. We're already seeing her rotate up towards this mid lane because it is getting pressured by Picante. Has to go and aid Mysticles a little. And straight away here, we should start to see Mysticles maybe rotate down as soon as, and almost swap places with his team as they start to set up these globals for the shrine. And you can already see, just a quick note, Sylvanas hiding off the map. As soon as they see the Shrine active, Sylvanas is going to step out and clear waves and push.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't really tried to do too much just yet. I think this could be the prime moment. But you posed this question in the draft, Haas. How do you use your double globals effectively? You have your two non-globals on the opposite end of the map. So you're heavily committing to pushing in the bottom lane. The early Punisher doesn't net too much value, so with Sylvanas in their employ, we could see AFS come out ahead. But Picante rotates down, Skull Kid's trying to join the fray, 3v3. The blind goes out, Damaverian pushes Percival back with his Probius. So even the value there is somewhat negated for AFS.
So what have they got off this? They've lost the Punisher because how are you going to challenge a Sonya Arthas on Shrine? They've lost the Punisher. It is an Arcane Punisher as well, so it's going to do a lot of damage early on here. And what have they got for it? They've so far got one tower bot. They're only just getting a second. Does put them a level up. But how much are they losing off of this Punisher? Because the Haka can't clear it that quickly.
It's a really interesting question. This composition from Accident-Free Sense has yet to bear fruit, I feel. Cripsy is going to go through one of the towers. The other one's out of ammo. Should be taken down by the time the principal elements of this is over. And they're not in experience. It's tough.
He didn't even drag it over initially, so they got this ball for essentially free. Finally, it jumps. And they're going to get some decent damage onto this fort. And because Skull Kid, of course, had to rotate off, that reduces the pressure elsewhere on the map. And straight away, Players Unknown are taking advantage of this. 2 towers down bar. They've taken the lead. They've now matched the damage that Sylv got done during the Shrine phase. And they get those towers for free. First hit level 7. They're ahead already.
AFS are going to have to start showing some of their versatility because the main merits of their composition are pretty much getting countered and effectively beaten. They're getting out-rotated with a double global composition. That's not what you want to have happen at level 7, so they're going to have to try to find some different dynamic and value out of this composition if they want to have hopes for the mid and late game. But we've seen Players Unknown play solidly last game. They're keeping that trend going right now.
Sure, just going to see a mirror now of both teams capping goat herder camp things, goat spears, whatever you want to call them. They're some evil looking things, that's all I'm saying. I would not want to meet the trio of these in a dark alley at night.
You don't want a domesticated goat demon thing that throws spears?
You think they're domesticated? They're dead inside.
They have no soul. Siege Camp does get picked up in the bottom lane. Apex Greymane played by Picante around the corner as well, so the Siege Camp stands getting negated. Both teams are even on experience though. Probius is pushing the top lane. Dahaka looks to be having a whale of a time up there. The rotation is in. Falstad flies up. Damaverian could get isolated. The wee little probe a long way from home is going to get taken down.
But even so, you had a lot of pressure up there already. You get the tower in the well, so that bodes well if there is another Shrine top. You force a global to be used already. Mystically's now out of mana. If he does decide to back, he has no fly up. He'll get the globe here. He could go tap, I guess, but tapping before a Shrine is never really worth it. And now we're on the race for 10. Okay, so he is going to back. He's going to be delayed by about 15 seconds. This is, once again, advantage Players Unknown. The question is, how are they going to deal with wave management prior to level 10?
Well, they got the Bruiser Camp, members of AFS. Sylvanas is committed to the top lane along with Dahaka. They look to be forfeiting the Punisher again. Didn't necessarily work out for them before, but Damaverian has a ton of siege clear with Probius, so Sylvanas isn't really able to hang out. Mist rotates up for the moment, but we do see a bit of a scrap. A bit late, though. Over 30 defenders already picked up. The stun goes in on Mist. The armor pops out from the Resilience. Oop! Into the root. Twilight Dream hushes. And then the falling sword on Lucio's face secures the second takedown. And then Arthas is on the ropes. Can he get out of there? Just barely with 200 health. AFS is waking up, man.
That was the one thing I was worried about. What I meant when I said wave management. I did have the fear that AFS would reach level 10 first because of how they were set up. Mouth soaked to wave bar. And now you're just looking for Mist or Damaverian to push on in and see exactly what he can get done. He's actually going to... Oh, I'm guessing his Q is on cooldown. Otherwise, he could have got 2 kills there. Nice bait to activate that pylon overcharge, but they just need 5 more. He's going to get poked out again. Apex is here. He's supporting Mist really well. One more Shrine Guardian, and that's it. It's going to be a Mortar Punisher going over. They secure it, and now they're even on level into an early game comp. Because they're even, AFS are effectively behind.
I mean, that progression was a lot more dicey than I anticipated. When
agree.
AFS rotated in there was already 30 defenders picked up, so for it to become that close really speaks to the potential of AFS going later on to this game, but the Mortar Punisher is rocking and rolling for the moment. Getting melted down, properly baited over the wall. Domavarian trying to put some pressure on there. They should come away with this fort. But now that the Heroics are on board, we see some signs of life out of AFS.
Yeah, but the question is that life gonna stick around for much longer? It's gonna probably see a mirror of both teams right now picking up these camps. It is 3 kills to 0 in the form of AFS. That's the only thing they've got going for them, because structurally they are far behind. The Haki using a global, he's going to go top. There's about 1 and a bit waves ready for him up there, but this is just going to show pressure down bot now. We should see Player Unknown grab this bottom camp and then look to pressure this fort. It's the last fort standing on the red side of the map, and they have the tools to do so. Domavarian already zoning up, clearing the wave, forcing utility to be used on this cannon, and with this camp, they should be able to look to push in.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be something of a huge moment. Level 13 not out of the question in this fight. The root goes in. Percival starts to back away, eating some shots from Probius' turret. Skull Kid does shut down the minions for the moment. Percival wades back into the deep end of the pool with the third helper. So level 13 not too far off. It looks like actually Players Unknown are happy with what they got. They're just going to back out here.
Frostad does finally fly on in here, misses the initial skill shot. Falling Sword comes in, that's just to peel away missed, but a little bit of overlap. Falstad will finally go down as Kante comes in. He's looking for even more kills. Silence goes out, running around a bit like headless chickens for the time being. Kante does want more. 2 kills already in the back. Percy is out of mana. He will go down. Ayla Mao should be next to follow. Skulk is just going to ride the Vape Nation wave out of there.
Vape Nation. I mean, I would commend Kante. He threw the Grenade Cocktail at the well, and that added up to being enough burst damage to net the third takedown out of a 4-for-0 swing. I was going to comment on AFS's resilience, not giving up any takedowns, but then they give up 4 at one of the worst possible moments. Bottom fort already claimed. This next Punisher should be well in hand for the members of Players Unknown. This is going to be knocking on the keep wall before they know it.
And to note here as well, a lot of the burst damage coming out from AFS is going to be that spell damage, because they have the Sylvanas. A Frostad Boomerang is going to be poking out the Probius as well. So this Photon Barrier, while a Photon Cannon is active and powered, Probius gains 30 spell armor. That's a lot of mitigation. And then damages an enemy hero, cooldown is reduced. He's committing to this Cannon Rush style of play. It's one of my favorites to execute in StarCraft 2. People hated me for it, but it's so fun to play. And he's transferring it over here. And now he gets shields during pylon fields as well. So really aiding his team here, mitigating a lot of the initial poke and burst coming out from Sylvan Falstad. The jump goes in, no follow-up just yet.
Mr. Please is able to barrel roll out of there. The small wall was taken down, so if the members of Players Unknown want to get froggy, they are in position to be able to leap. Frozen Punisher less than half health now. We do have Heroics on all sides. This is an even talent tier progression with the Punisher going down. We could see FS try to turn this around.
Yeah, Cleanse has been used for AFS already, though. They're looking for the re-engage. Iron Skin being used. Could see something come out from Mist. Cripsy is going to get silenced, so it does interrupt the spin. He has to back out for now and wait for a little bit longer. Falling Sword comes in, knocks him, Apex, and Picante up. And now we're going to have to see Players Unknown look for a disengage. They try and re-engage onto Percy. They find that one. Picante does want more. Cleanse used. Needham is going to ice block. Apex staying alive in the back. Say will just barrel roll on out of there as well on the Greymane. They find the kill on the Dahaka just before the Gust comes out. They want this keep. Domo wants it.
Domavarian is like, I'm not giving up. No, he finally decides to back away. Level 16 was picked up. Scrappy play from the members of Accident Free Sense, but there are definitely some spillages in the bottom lane by the end of all that. 2-for-1 Sonya was claimed in that team fight, but this is tough. We saw the lack of burst response. Picante on Greymane just turned around and blew someone up and was like, all right, well, guess we'll just continue to hang out. That's the one thing that the members of AFS are going to have to worry about on their way to level 16.
Yeah, for sure. And already this 2-level lead looking very nice for Players Unknown. And they're just going to try and paint the map as blue as they can. Already got 2 camps out, 3 in fact. as now the next play is this top bruiser camp pushing their talent advantage while they have it. Cripsy is going to anchor. They could look for the kill onto Alamau. It's exactly what Mist is looking for.
Root goes in. Can they follow it up? He did pick up the added root. The burrow is going to save him for the moment, but Falling Sword's not going to be there in time. Dehaka does get blown up. Mist is going to try to back away. Dominarian gets a good amount of poke damage in with Probius. Forces back Percival. Next shrine will be here in the top lane. Both of the keep towers are taken down, so this would look to threaten this top keep if it is picked up by the members of Players Unknown. Level 16 isn't out of the question for AFS, though, so they could definitely look to respond here still.
Yeah, the big thing there, though, for AFS is that they did force Army of the Dead. So that is going to be on cooldown for this shrine. Once they get 16, they can look to engage. They're going to have about a 30-second window between Falling Sword being up and Army of the Dead still on cooldown. They won't have Wailing Arrow, so they will have to rely on the Malfurion, the Dehaka, and the Johanna to interrupt this Sonya's spin, in turn stopping her sustaining so well.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to do that. Falstad is able to secure 16. Percival steps in. Falstad flies up. Dehaka burrows in. Misses the drag. Cripsy steps in. Twilight Dream silences members of Players Unknown. The Mighty Gus forces them back as well. Falling Sword on Picante. Greymane gets taken down. The sound barrier is late. Alam out low on health. Johanna isolated. Taken down 1-for-1. Needham trying to get the heck out of dodge. The Skull Kid is able to Haunting Wave back, throws out the free one, and gets promptly deleted. The root goes in on Needham. 3-for-0. Well, 3-for-1 so far. Greymane was taken out. Apex is continuing to chase down Mysticles. Dehaka is going to get blown up as well. This could have been one of the last opportunities for AFS to do something to try to turn this around. And they lost out pretty big.
Yeah, someone once told me that Sonya at level 16 is broken. And yeah, it is. Sonya there was tanking 3 players. I believe it was the Falstad, Malfurion, and Dehaka at the end there, and then still Haunting Waves in, and then she's tanking 4. Great play coming out from Cripsy, knowing when he can duck in and dive on out of there. A lot of good merits in that fight, actually from both teams as well. The initial isolation of Picante's Greymane, the Gust, and then Falling Sword stop Greymane rolling on out of there was really nice. It's just a shame they couldn't get anything else off of it. They blew so much to find that initial kill. Cleanse already used here on top of Iron Skin, so the next jump or route that lands is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, we definitely look to see John Cena come off the top rope. Wailing Arrow goes out. Mist eats a boatload of damage, and the sound barrier is again late from Apex. The Mighty Gus is going to isolate Cripsy. He's like, oh wait, I'm surrounded by quite a bit of red. He is able to spin out of there, low on health. But Malfurion is next to drop as well. Skull Kick is taken down. The Punisher comes back on Alamau. Percival's going to drop as well, leaving Mysticles the last member of AFS alive. And that could be game, Haas.
I think this is indeed game. It is just Mysticles left. 35 seconds on Gust. He's going to fly home. Yeah, and there it is. It's exactly as I guess I said. The AFS had this early game where they needed to win early, but they just never were able to press their advantage. And if you get to level 10 and you're even, and you don't make anything happen initially, then being even from there on out means you are effectively behind. They had the tools to get ahead early, but they never were able to do so. Nice play from Players Unknown. They understood how their game was going to go. They played around it. Domovarian's Probius did a lot of work, 55k damage. That double Greymane, to put it in perspective. Good stuff coming out from him. And then once you get to that late game, Sonya is a complete and utter menace that you just can't deal with.
Yeah, the power spikes were real for the members of Players Unknown. Alpha Killer paired with Arthas from Greymane. That's another 3% of somebody's max health every time he hits, and he's hitting like a real boy already. That's a lot of damage to worry about. Probius is one of those sly heroes where you're just like hanging around over a control point, and you're like, wait, why is half my health gone? Like, you just don't even see it coming.
Yep.
And I mean, it was just well played. We saw a practiced and measured performance from Players Unknown. They never really overextended, but when those opportunities came up, they pounced on them, man. It was cool.
Yeah, I agree. And as I said, Picante said to me in the game before, we're going to get bodied. I was like, no, I believe in you. And I just messaged him saying, told you so.
I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, they came out, they played their game, they didn't change that. The Arthas worked for them quite nicely. Apex staying strong on that Lucio. A few questionable sound barriers, just I mean, he got value, but he didn't get the max value he wanted from them. Always a little bit late to save that one initial person, but they played their comp well. They understood the opponent's weakness, played around it, and they get the W moving on to the next round.
If there was one criticism to be had out of that performance, I agree with you. I would note that the sound barriers were coming in a bit late against a team that had more burst, that had more of an exclamation point, like a Ragnaros with Sulfuria Smash or something like that. That's definitely something that could have been, abused or taken advantage of. But that sustained style of damage from Falstad, Sylvanas. We did see Mighty Gus. Like I said, I really think Hinterland Blast was the heroic to go with there, because I just think they needed that added damage. And with so many people lined up in those tight corridors, could have got some work done.
Yeah, I mean, Gus got value that one time up at Top Shrine where they were able to effectively isolate Picante and they were rewarded with the kill. But after that, there was just nothing. There was no more damage coming through. And I feel like that would have been the same with Hinterlands. Like, unless you get a 4-man Hinterlands and you get that off cooldown again, like, as soon as you blow that one cooldown, there's then nothing else there. They kind of had like a weird slow team fight, but a slow team fight into Sonya on a shrine is never going to end well, especially as you transfer into that mid to late game. So, yeah, just I think draft issues coming out from AFS. Their play was okay. You saw they understood their comp early. They tried taking the advantages, but I think just their draft is what let them. And I can argue that it happened on Monday in HGC Open. They tried the double global then, and it didn't work out. They tried it here, and it still didn't work out. So I think back to the drawing board for them if they do want to continue this style of draft.
I would agree with that. I mean, they played that composition honestly better than I thought they would. Like, when they got their heroics and that Twilight Dream came out, like we were talking about, it's like, Players Unknown already had over 30 defenders, and they almost came away with that Punisher, which against an Arthas is pretty much unheard of.
Arthas Sonya, nonetheless.
Right. Yeah. So if they had a more sturdy, meta-conscious composition, they could definitely see some upgrade in their results. I appreciate any team that wants to venture outside the meta and, kind of go into that mad scientist kind of situation, but I agree, man. It might be time to go back to the drawing board.
But I don't know what they mix up in that, because if they want to run the double global, then I don't think you go Sylve, but then you kind of need Sylve to stay ahead early. I feel like one global is okay. Maybe the Falstad over the Dahaka, and then look to create a stronger 4-man maybe.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean,
because they early on they tried to use that Sylve to get towers, right? But that was either matched right away after they got what they wanted, or they just weren't able to pressure him so much because their tower pressure was so low outside of the Silver. But, yeah.
I agree that there was never really an instance where I felt like, oh, that's why they went Sylvanas. Like that, like, this is the moment where they're getting value out of that hero. And a lot of it was just because Players Unknown played the map so well. Like, in the earlier parts, they were out-rotating double global. Like, I was like, okay. Like, they have 4 people down bottom. They're way ahead right now. Like, how's this working out? But we will see Players Unknown continue to advance and continue to